having tsunamis, flooding, cyclones. Like you can notice, like there was a time we've been noticing there's a lot of resetting happening. Places like there's places like Nyahuru, Limuru, um, those sides of Abadea, they've already started experiencing more of hailstorms. You look at cyclones that are happening down south near Madagascar. The winds are so strong coming upwards. You look at, for example, there was this whole cloud seeding that the Middle East were doing, and see how the flooding affected the whole, some of those states that were there. Look at all these, the way the greenhouse effect has melted a lot of the ice, causing a lot of floods, too much rain. And now there's this story about, like, I don't know how many years from now, that the continents will shift again, and all. I feel like it's coming, and most probably when it does, it will, even if it won't be there, it definitely is going to eliminate um, all these people who are creating these man-made solutions
I
in it.
feel I feel already nature is doing its work, because you see, when I talk about now you and your gene or your brain being uh, degraded, yani inaenda ikimalizwa, intellect yenu inaenda ikimalizwa, is whereby you are now making stupid decisions, so you're dying faster. That is nature, psychological process.
Give me examples of stupid. What did you just say?
Stupid decisions.
Yeah, stupid decisions that
Uh-huh.
have led to people dying.
Yeah,
So can we say like the nuclear war? Like
exactly.
that is one.
Exactly.
The cloud seeding itself,
Mm-hmm.
more flooding, people die.
Cloud seeding is
Isn't
it's
it?
a man-made
It's a man-made thing.
solution. Eh?
Yes.
But now I have a question. When nature is winning, do we say it's winning, or nature is just existing? Because the way it is winning, to us, it seems like, bro, it is finishing us, but it is resetting on its own.
Yeah, it's a reset, and
Mm-hmm.
reset comes with consequences
Yeah.
because we don't have the fact that nature decides to reset anything.
Mm.
It doesn't. There's no at who gets to live or not.
Consequence now falls
Consequences.
on the humans. Eh?
Yes, consequences fall on us.
So when also man is making a solution, consequences fall on nature.
Yes,
Mm.
plastics.
So it is like
About
a
it.
constant battle between
It's a
humans and nature.
yes. So we've not been able to find a proper synergy of living in the same ecosystems. What we're doing is more of a push and pull. There's no, trying to, because think about it.
Mm.
If Middle East is supposed to be dry, why are you forcing to make rain? Yet we know for a fact, anywhere that is very arid, that is where you get most of the things like um, what do we call them? Biofuels,
Mm.
right? So you can imagine now you're pushing more water towards it. What does that mean?
Mm.
It will
No,
mean
it is
even,
not being dissolved.
yes.
Absorbed, sorry.
So most probably you'll have now, as you're saying, everything will take time.
Mm.
Even the nature itself will start adapting
By
to
this
this
sijaifikiria hivyo.
created. Think about it.
Sijaifikiria ati maji haikuwa absorbed juu ya oil. I've never thought about it that way.
It'll get I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
we know there are two layers.
It
You know,
is
to
making
something.
sense, bana.
Eh,
Because it is not going the natural process. Absorb in the ground,
exactly.
take it back to wherever it came from.
Exactly.
Now in a
Look,
stagnate mahali.
ebu angalia kama, let me give you another one that I also see is a very big problem now that we're in the rainy seasons. And look, Kasai, it's not even raining anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the 3rd, and I know for a fact, if you go back 5 years back, there was like 2-3 weeks of heavy rain.
Mm-hmm.
Those years back, we are talking of. Now, today's the 3rd, there's not even rain. So already that tells you the rainy season is over.
Kwetu kunanyesha.
Kwenyu kunanyesha, come on, you're in the highlands, what do you expect?
So, hameni huko.
So you'll find that, sasa, like for example, so akina Phantom, Putin, akina Baiko wamekata miti wakaenda wakajenga. So what have you done to the ground? Siltation.
Mm.
it goes down when it rains inaenda huko chini, si ndio?
Mhm.
What happens? Even the river itself starts changing it. And I've seen a lot of these where even the river start changing its direction,
Mhm.
creates more tributary, like a lot of it siltation inaenda chini. Before you know it, because there's not so much of like kasasa, rain imepotea, deforestation. What are we doing towards it? So Mother Nature will be like, okay, we are going to go fulfill to those people who are taking care of it. People who have maybe done reforestation get more rain. Nyinyi inaisha. You've seen there was a guy, I think.
But
There's,
I think sahi sisi wote tuna suffer the same consequences.
yeah, but look at there's this guy, I don't know, he went and planted trees in a land that he picked that was very arid. All of a sudden, it's a rainforest.
Au ule wa Brazil,
Ule wa Brazil. So what does that tell you?
it tells you that
Think about Kasai, let's be sincere. In Kenya, how many forests have we had? Karura is ending, Ngong Forest is in a Queenish. Before you know it, you even forgot that somewhere, just because of this thing we call expressway, you forgot we used to have beautiful canopies of jacaranda trees in the middle of in town, Uhuru Highway yote. What is happening now? Whenever it rains, people down there is flooding that doesn't make sense. So all these, you'll find that will be one way or the other. We'll find ourselves at a point where, because of now even nature trying to adopt, because of also there's no forestation to do all that cloud seeding, because trees help in all that. You'll find now will become a hot area, so no water, so no reservation of that. Everything becomes expensive. We have the issue of wealth. What happens next?
but now this is where I think we burden nature with a lot of solution making. Kwa sababu, you see, for example, that thing you're talking about whereby people uproot trees for urban development, that's a man-made problem.
Yeah.
Nature has nothing to do with it. As in, it's not a must a tree grows there, but it will still survive. Now, this is the most interesting thing about nature. Nature does not give a fuck what you do. Because
It does.
remember this.
But it giving a fuck, it comes to teach you. It comes to
Bas.
teach you a lesson, like
It's
your
not-
action have consequences.
It's not even a lesson. It is trying to show you, bro, whatever you are doing, you continue doing it.
You'll have to pay for it.
But I will exist even when you are not here. Because look at these movies we see of utopia. Kwenye human beings are fucked up and then wamejimaliza. For example, that thing you're giving out of, was it you or Gift saying about the nuclear warfare?
Both of us.
So we destroy each other. Bro, who is left?
Nobody.
It's nature.
Nature itself will resolve itself.
Bro, nature will just continue like nothing ever happened. It will recover from that. It's the same way even right now in places like Chernobyl, kwenye walitupa, but there was that nuclear leak in Russia. Bro,
the thing that blew up.
yes. Imagine scientists are going there and are finding bacteria. Is it bacteria? It is bacteria.
Yeah, that can survive.
That is eating radiation to survive.
Imagine that.
they're spending their earned wealth trying to understand why nature exists in such a calamity.
Imagine that. Bro, nature exists in anything. Even in chaos, it will still exist. But we go back even to so far into nature. The biggest history nilisoma nikacheka mpaka I almost fell down. The biggest loss that Napoleon Bonaparte ever suffered came from nature. And it came from rabbits. Imagine that. Have you ever heard of that story, Gift?
No.
Yeah.
You've heard it?
What happened?
So Napoleon, after the Battle of Sicily, they are going to celebrate that they have conquered a city. So the way they used to celebrate Kitambo is through games. And those games included games of hunting. So since we've destroyed nature, we have to import man-made solutions. What is the man-made solution? Import rabbits. So that
you can do the games.
Sasa games zikianza, we release these rabbits and then we hunt them for sport.
Hunt them.
But the problem of rabbits, they fuck a lot.
They hunt like dogs.
Bro, Sungura moja inazaa sungura zingine 7.
Mhm.
So by the time they were being released, they were so many that hata wewe ukitafuta mahali ya kukanyanga hivi hakuna. Now,
It became an infestation.
Napoleon is short. So he's trying to run away. These rabbits are overwhelming him.
Stampede.
He was almost swallowed by rabbits. Ni vile tu aliokolewa na the same guy who started that problem. Mwenye alitumwa kutafuta hizo sungura. He's the one who actually saved Napoleon. So it became a more of an infestation whereby nature tried to correct that problem. You're putting us in the wrong environment, but we will thrive either way. Bro, si ati umetuambia tumekuja hapa, you've taken us from the forest, you've put us here. We will not continue doing what we are doing. Bro, we'll still fuck. They are fucking there. Rabbits zimetokelezea. They don't give a fuck kama kuna chakula ama kuna chakula. Si umetuleta hapa. We will thrive. It's the same way if you put a plant inside a house and leave it there. Kama hizi climbing plants. You start to find them zimeanza kuinvade wall yako.
Actually, that's what they do.
Yes, and now it becomes a what? A problem.
A problem.
Yes, because now you're trying to figure out a way to fix it. But if it was back in nature ingeisort. In the way that thing it is invading, it kills it.
Yes.
Because mostly they climb trees. And when a tree...
And walls and...
when a tree is imekosa chakula, it just naturally dies. And that plant dies.
Yeah.
But now you've placed it in a wall. Bro, the wall cannot die. So it is for that thing to grow as far as it wants.
Yeah.
So when you may create your problem,
correct,
it becomes a problem to you.
Yeah.
It will eat you and it will leave you there because you've given it room ama wings to fly. You see where I'm going with this one?
Yeah, that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But what happened about those rabbits?
Sasa hiyo story inakuanga funny.
And what happened to the rabbits?
Sasa now this guy has had to figure out ways to kill those rabbits.
Oh.
Sasa one of the biggest mistakes they did, they introduced poison. Now with poison inakuja, okay, kuna mtu ako njaa, so mimi nitashika sungura nikule. They also poison themselves in the process.
Yeah, because I'm looking at I can't remember which story it was about rat infestation and the way it brought a lot of
it was the
rat infestation in New
Genghis
York.
Khan. Even Genghis Khan.
There was a story
Even
about
in New
that.
York.
Where Genghis Khan was using...
And look at the rats in New York. Those things are humongous.
Bro, sijaiona lakini I'm
no,
assuming...
if you look at the videos that are there, I think that's nature trying to survive.
I used to watch, sijui kama umeona hii movie, is this show called How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
What did Barney do?
There was another rat that had evolved mpaka now they were calling it a cockroach rat.
No.
And it has bred with cockroaches. It has bred with...
I bet that story came from Barney. I bet
it came from Marshall.
Marshall's also.
And they eventually saw it until it gave birth.
and you know, now I wonder... Apana. No. Actually, come to think of it, in Langata, there's a very big infestation of rats in Langata. And they're very humongous. I don't even know how I even survived there. That is a very scary place to live by.
Wapi?
Langata. Unakuta kipanya tu kikubwa. No.
Have you watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
The one with Megan Fox or something?
Yes, there's this rat called Splinter.
Master Splinter.
Like the Master Splinter.
Don't disrespect that name.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You saw how now the story of how the scientist went ahead and tried to change the DNA of how the normal functioning of the turtles and the rat.
Yeah.
And even while they found themselves in the sewer, they discovered a way on how to survive. So what did Splinter do? He trained himself first, and then he trained the turtles.
Uh-huh. Bruh, you see, that is now when man-made solutions interfered with the nature. You see, you saw what, bro, that movie or that
Nature adapted.
bruh, and it adapted so well to a point that they eradicated humans. Ama they were looking to eradicate humans because
You know, now when you say it like that,
Mhm.
I wonder. You see, like for example, so is it? Have we had situations where nature is trying to eliminate us?
exactly that, and that's why I'm telling you. For me, my biggest problems were two.
Mm-hmm.
One,
Mm-hmm.
wealth,
Mm-hmm.
because when we fucked around with the nature by introducing man-made solutions,
Mm-hmm.
we discovered wealth.
Yes.
But now the way we have used wealth, it is coming back to eat us in a way that we now disregarded nature. No, no, because now we don't give a fuck about what nature is doing. Me, as long as I'm making money, bro, I will make that money. You see somebody going to a whole forest and yangusha yote chini, not planting any more trees.
Mm-hmm.
He's making money, but does not give a fuck about that shit. If you go down that journey, eventually you will have money, but you will not have nature.
Not forever.
Yes. If you don't have a nature, how are you going to survive?
That's it. Because you finished all the trees.
Bruh, not unless you go a robot. I'm a cyborg.
Exactly.
That's the only way you're going to survive.
Eh.
That's why you're seeing even humans, the way they think of remedies is leaving this planet.
You know that even if they leave this planet and even go to Mars, Jupiter, whatever,
Same
the
problems.
same problems
Yeah,
they are
exactly.
going to be inherited.
You have
there.
not solved that specific
Exactly,
problem.
because right now I feel like you know when you spoke of nature has been able to produce a bacteria that can eat
Radiation.
the radiation, not just even radiation. The such isotopes are just way bad. The fact that humans, if I introduce it right now, and even have different children out of it, we probably the only time a healthy child will be there, baby will be like maybe the 8th generation from where I am. That's how fucked up it is.
Now
And
you are coming to my second problem.
before we go even there, now I'm trying to look at it from this point. Leave COVID, which was Kina Nani, somebody's agenda. Let's go to 19, was it 1912 or 24, when there was such also another viral, let me call it pandemic, that really cleared like half of the population. And because that situation only thrived because the conditions were right for it to mess everybody up. So, okay, so you see, gift, when I'm looking at it from this point. When we are trying to come up with solution to diseases and something like that, then you hear that, some of these diseases have gone to a place where they are now evolving, resisting treatment, resisting vaccines. Is that still nature?
That's still nature.
Because I feel like it's trying to get rid of us, like we're the
You
we're the
remember when you
problem.
were saying, now, if I'm going to a cold place, I will have to come with solutions.
Yes.
But we discovered that those solutions are tailor-made only to you. If you continue going down that journey, that generation, that is you as you started it. The way they are going to come with solutions are not going to be the same as you did.
No.
But now the problem is we come with man-made solution and we do not factor in environment. You remember once we had a disagreement with you about vaccines and Vituka HIVs.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
I was trying to go to that angle whereby we come up with solutions and we disregard the environment.
Actually, let me shock you. In the same line of work that I've been into, and especially this time when we were handling the monkeypox situation, you can imagine we were looking at it and asking ourselves, when was the last time we had such a scenario? That was 50 years ago. What has monkeypox, the virus, done? It has evolved to a point where it wasn't attacking the previous vaccines that had been made against it. It is the new strain that was actually prevalent in certain areas. So you see, nature is very bright. So it keeps learning and changing and learning and changing. And we notice something. The moment we solve like issues of, let's say, hepatitis B, C, HIV, what do you think will happen?
Another one.
Another bitch will be coming in, and it trusts you, it will be worse than that,
The
because
previous.
there are people who we've seen who've been cured of HIV long term, and there are people who believe there are vaccines out there, but because of wealth, somebody needs to sustain that for some time.
For example, if I take you back to COVID, there's something I've been trying to track down. Na imenisumbua sana. There's a flu that is coming up.
No, that flu is here.
Hiyo flu sijui ni nini.
I
Watu
don't know
wanapata hii
if
kitu.
yes, have you guys
Hata mimi
noticed
nilikuwa
there's a
nimepata.
flu that is going round?
Yes.
You get it the first time, it looks and it's very strong in a kugonga
Bro.
proper good one.
Wacha.
When you think it's over, it comes a
Inakuja
second
tena.
version of it.
Sasa ni mifupa.
I had to a point where that people are even getting diarrhea, and I was like, "Yo,
I'm telling
it
you.
is bad."
Uliza
And
test tube
you know,
hapa.
you know when you hear not people in different areas telling you they've had the same kind of symptoms, and they tell you the same episode, and they don't even know each other, you realize,
Na sasa
the flu is coming. So you can imagine right now we are going out into proper a cold season, and this will kick in probably because if you see the rain have stopped now, that means the cold will come in early in June. So what does that mean? The nini has been dormant in your system. Maybe nilienda kapatana na phantom Baiko who probably had it. Then probably pia
mimi nilipona.
no, I'm just saying. So like now we are 5-6 people here. I have it, but it's dormant. Sambazie. That's it.
Sasa wacha nikuchekeshe. Mimi the other problem was marriage. Yo, nature will come to fix. It's coming for marriage.
Okay, how does marriage and nature come in? Because this
You-
is already too man-made, and nature doesn't really give a fuck of what you're doing.
As I said, we became responsible with that thing.
So people like Gift will be sorted out from there.
Gift has already
they're-
been sorted.
I know they're killing. Nature is not, nature is not happy of Gift trying to eliminate himself from the equation.
Nature is very happy
No.
with gift. In fact, you will
No.
find gift will live a long life than you.
So it was going to award Gift.
Bro, in fact, gift, if you ask him, from the moment he cut off that
His
sack,
balls.
angepima kilo zake saa hii, hiyo time, na saa hii, bro, this guy has added weight.
Definitely.
That is how nature is rewarding him. Bro, you are doing a good job for yourself.
No.
Hiyo akili usipitishe hapa. But anyway, man, leo sijui kutaka aje, man.
Kuna viongozi wameingia huku.
Leo bwana niko na my arch nemesis. Hata niwachezee the preemption of what is coming up. Hii ni ya wazee. Vunja mifupa kama meno bado. Mr. Sultan, habari gani?
Niko poa Baiko. Long last.
Finally.
I'm good.
Happy baby.
Mgani.
It's a Saturday.
Hapana.
It's my day off.
Sikia mgani.
Tulisema
It's
aje.
my day off.
Ile siku utawahi sikia niko mahali. Kuja na bibi yako.
Kuja na bibi.
Ndo ikue nini?
Asot.
Wewe relax. Wewe acha kuuliza maswali mengi.
After 35 years ndo ikue nini?
Wewe usini 35 years. Unaogopa nini?
Hakuna kitu naogopa.
Sasa si umpigie simu akuje.
Hiyo ni kazi ngumu.
Nasema asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu.
Hiyo ndio sasa nataka kujifunza.
Yeye ndio ulimwengu.
But it's nice to meet you.
Nice to see you, bro.
Mwana kijana ni mnono mfupi round.
Mtono mfupi round hata
Etikia.
nikamtumia ako na donut na tumbo kubwa. Kwa
Anashikana
hivyo
na ukuta.
anashindana na
Anashikana
ukuta.
na
Same explanation usi think otherwise.
Na hisi AI. Huyo ni Sultan tuko naye hapa bwana. It is not AI. Juu Sultan ajui kutumia AI. Ni
Na
Sultan,
ujue
bro.
bado tutaongea about AI consequences. of
Thank you.
being
We are
married.
going there
We
na
are going
technology.
there.
Lakini sasa hapo tunaweza toa Sultan juu. Yako-
It's
Kwa hiyo
okay.
mimi
You can tell us
technologically
natural
so mimi
cause.
siko na ChatGPT saizi.
Wow.
Sijasoma
I like that
vitabu.
least you can take
Me I
jokes
joke
by
with
the way.
anything. Me nothing hits me.
Yaani wewe uliamua utakuwa troll tu.
Mimi ChatGPT ni yangu. Ukiona fit ujue imetoka kwa ChatGPT. Mimi nimeiprompt, imenipatia results na nimetumia wanaume.
Umedunga hapo.
Sasa wao wakiona mimi ni mwerevu, ni mjinga.
So hata hizo advice unatupeanga za marriage za kwa kutoka kwa ChatGPT.
No, unajua AI is not clever. AI, you have to prompt it your idea, then it gives you what you are thinking.
True. Actually, I feel like mostly AI, it's like Google search. You go search, like, tell me who Ali Mapono is, and then it's like, gives us photos and all that, and then it says, Ali Sultan. It gives us all the names and gives us all the names. And then asks, what do you want to know about him? Is it true he's married for that guy?
Unajua imebidi ni pause juu sasa.
Algorithm.
Karembo hata wewe ujipendi.
Algorithm.
Unasema Ali Mapono na ako hapa na wewe.
Mimi alipapono kwani
Imetoka. You know the way I can't imetoka.
hiyo si habari ya kutoka, hiyo iko.
Let me say Sultan. So I think for me AI.
Watu wako wanauliza aje. What the fuck is Sultan doing there?
There are people who actually ask that. Must be nice.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Sultan amekuja kuaudit.
I know.
Una audit nini?
But karibu by this.
It's nice.
Yes.
Nice meeting you guys after a long time.
Yeah, last I think I saw it was last year. In one of the shows tulikuwa tunayo.
At least I'm meeting Baiko for
Mimi
the first time.
sijaimuona.
Bado niko na matiti yangu. Mpili matiti yangu
Hai
bado
bro,
kubwa.
unakaa visexy.
Mazee, Karembo bado ako suppose kumpatia
Yeah,
bra
I'm
yake.
actually I will leave you with
Ako
this.
suppose kunipatia bra yake.
Itakushare
Nijae
vizuri.
hapa.
Na wewe ni light skin bwana.
Mimi?
Matiti imetoka wapi
Kwani
sasa?
ulikuwa wafikia nini?
Mimi sikuwa najua Sultan ni light skin.
Nasema kwa kitwekea picha huko hivyo
Nilikuwa nafikiria ni anapiga simu na anapiga picha na upo. I thought that was it bro. Mimi sikuwa najua. Nimeelewa sasa kwa nini kuna mahali ulipelekwa swimming.
Mazee, kama kuna mtu ananibanta katika Twitter space ni Baiko, yani Baiko akiona tu anaangalia wapi atani hit the most.
He's having a field day with you.
Mazee, ana low punches.
Mimi
Saa ingine
niliacha,
by the way nazichukulia gaki, saa ingine nazifeel
but-
zinakuwaga too low saa ingine.
But you know with
Anakuona
Twitter,
na mbao.
Nani? Baiko unaona kasikia mambao.
Sasa nimekuona hata nasikia tukae nawe hapa kwa hii kiti.
hapana. But unajua bante ya Twitter is so strange. It's not your, it's, oh my God, you guys are cutthroat bana.
Hapana.
I've never seen people, hey, let me say this. Can we never have what happened that other time?
Which
What?
one?
Pana. You guys went on mulikuwa
Wewe
jabs.
usikufanya kitu
Mimi
yote.
na Baiko
No, Baiko, you know what we did, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
Wachana na
do
Baiko.
anything.
Bado kuna rumors nyingine nimetia mwanamke mwingine mimba katika Twitter.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Baiko is still going to
No.
open a space for that
But then,
one.
I'm in a
Hiyo si najua unajua sasa makosa yangu Sultan. For mimi sifanyangi vitu tu hivyo. Mimi
una
lazima
research.
nifanye
Mazee,
research
research
yangu
yako ni-
vizuri.
yeah, research ya
Nijue
Research
mumetoana wapi, nijue msichana
Nilimvulia
anaishi
kofia.
wapi.
Nilimvulia kofia.
you can imagine now, and like that was back then, right? And then you can imagine. Okay, let me ask, because we are talking of this. These are man-made problems.
Exactly. This is a natural
So
solution.
how did nature sort this thing out?
No,
Sasa
it will
unaona
sort itself.
Sultan
Wewe will say.
already ameenda kwa bibi yake akamwambia sasa, because
Stop
you
it.
see men were saying that uko na bibi mwingine. Bra, kuja wazi. Kuja wazi. Sultan went all the way to Diani, tukamwona kwa Swimu. As in, nature is sorting that shit out. Eh?
Natural tense.
Amewacha kupretend that he's inside the closet. We've been talking about the closet, bro. Katoka na tears pale akifanya
Matiti zinacheza tu bwana.
Ah.
Baiko hiyo ni hit yake. Hiyo ishamzo usijali. He has a permanent grudge. But it's good Baiko.
But karibu sana man Sultan. I'd never thought I'd see you.
Why?
That's something I will say.
Milima ndo ikutani.
Ndio nasema I never thought I would see you.
You never thought.
Wow.
Bro, nikifikiria watu naweza kutana nao.
Mhm.
Ati niseme nimepangisha line hapa.
Mm.
Sultan angekuwa hapo.
Mnyamwezi angekuwa number 1.
Na
But
hata
already
si
asha
mwezi.
meet.
Ushamit.
Mimi kuna mtu nataka kummeet.
Nani?
Hiyo ni siri yangu man.
I know, but alikwambia alikuinvite for that nini next weekend, next
Nani?
Friday.
Anataka
Yaani alimfanya nini tena?
No,
Hata mimi nashangaa.
Anataka kuona
BFF ya Sultan.
anataka kuona
Hapana,
Kate.
huyo si namba. Kate ni nani?
Si
Oh,
Kate,
boy.
Andrew Kibe.
Hapana, huyo sitaki kukuta. Mimi nataka kukutana na mtu mmoja, Abuya Master. That's the only person I want to meet. Bro, huyo mtu mkiniwekea number 1 kwa list yangu,
Abuya.
niseme nakutana na Abuya Master, naweza furahi mbaya sana.
Okay, Abuya Master ni
Unajua Abuya Master?
Abuya Master ni yule rabbit.
Thank you bro.
Gift mambo.
So, Gift, let me ask this question. Is nature currently awarding you for snapping your balls?
Let me put it this way.
It's Spike of said it. I'm not the one who said it. I'm only
No,
asking
no.
a question.
No, it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I'd say yes, because I've had the how do I put it? Unaona, mimi nilikuwa na shitty ankles, like super shitty ankles. And one of the things that I discovered with being at self, unaelewa, I mean, in my own existence, is that I've been very considerate of the existence of my nephews and nieces. I've been a very present uncle, super present uncle. I interact with them, I make phone calls, we talk, I'd spend time with them. Nini, it's also made me a better brother to my siblings.
Your sisters.
It's
Okay.
made me a better son, because my concentration is not focused on anything else. It's just that. And mimi kukua kivyangu imenifanya niko free. And I'll give you an example. In during COVID, 2020, 2021, penye niko sahi is almost 1,800 kilometers from where I used to live. So imagine, niliamka asubuhi, opened my balcony door, and I just looked at my life. I was like, nah, I don't want to live here anymore. I've been in this place for almost 6 years, and I left. I never discussed it with anybody. I uprooted my life to another place, which is 1,800 kilometers away, and I began my life afresh again.
And you see, that is nature trying to sort you out.
Like now imagine if I had
He didn't say it with a straight face, by the way.
no,
Yaani,
now imagine
Gift umeavoid
imagine
hiyo
if
swali
I had-
kabisa yani.
No, nataka tu wewe imagine if I had anyone to consult. Unaona, like today naweza amka niseme I'm feeling like going back home, and I'll just book a flight, nipande ndege niende tu home. Nothing stops me. I don't have to run it by anybody, no discussions, nothing. Naamka tu natoka naenda kufanya chenye nataka. There's power in that, and there's lack of accountability equally, because nature has created an environment where there has to be some sort of community. Unaelewa? Na
Sina.
mimi hiyo sina.
So your community is back home. It's no longer there.
Unajua
No.
Si ameavoid hiyo swali kabisa.
na unajua amejibu
Community yangu ni
lakini
mimi.
hajajibu directly. Kwa sababu if
Si
you look
jibu yake.
at life, venye life ya Gift imekuwa, bro, nature has been trying to communicate to him until akasema Allahu Akbar. Because as he's saying very well,
No, how was nature talking to him? How?
he has said it very well. For you to exist in nature, nature has created a source of community. But Gift has left
Ran
that
away.
community.
Yes, ran away from the
So
community.
nature ikamwambia, bro, nitakuonyesha kitu yenye hautawahi recover.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kafanyiwa mercy killing.
Mercy killing for his balls.
Kuna nature ilimwambia hivyo, yeye ndio aliamua.
No, it's actually punishing him because he says he has
Psychologically.
found proper relations with his nieces, nephews, and even his siblings. Then why basi anaenda akirukaruka huko hivyo ana move 1800 sijui kilometers.
You know, nature,
Anatorokea nini?
Nature-
Already ashas
No, sasa uelewi. Okay, now ngoja Sultan and Karembo, you need to understand this. The reason why I left where I was, it's not that I wasn't doing well or I wasn't mentally okay. It's because I had conquered whatever environment I was in.
But you've not conquered
I
it.
really No, skiza, I was in that area because of school.
In
That's
his
the
mind, he
first
had
thing that
conquered.
brought me
In
there.
his mind he had conquered.
Yes.
But
No,
Nate
no,
had actually
skiza,
nature ilikuwa imekuonyesha
you're
you
not
can be a good
understanding.
father.
No. Listen, you're not getting. The main reason of me moving was because I felt like I've done everything in that area. That city nilikuwa nimeichambua in and out in terms of business, in terms of failures, in terms of progress, in terms of friendship. And then this was the time yenye nilikuwa nimemaliza college. So my
Wait,
friends have also started dispersing.
let me ask you
There
something.
are those who
Gift.
moved na nini. So mimi nikakaa nikajiambia I need to try something else.
Gift. And
Yes.
I'm going to ask you this question because there's another guest in the building. Hata huyu nilikuwa namuona kwa TV peke yake. Kwa TV namaanisha
Oh my
YouTube.
goodness.
Mimi ni mtu wa ushago, nikiona kitu yote kwa TV najuanga hiyo ni TV bro. Tumeona hiyo news kwa TV. The question is, because you gave us a very good story that you had conquered that environment, you'd conquered friendship, business. But I remember you giving us a story about your friends trying to poison you.
No, this was just last 1.5 years ago. That was in Kenya.
Wasn't it
I'm
the
talking
same
about-
time you did the move?
No, I did the
Aliku-
movie in
alikuwa amerudi.
2019, 2020.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because if you had conquered that environment, your friends wouldn't want to poison you.
No, you're not getting. Hiyo ilifanyika Mombasa. Mimi nilikuwa Canada.
Okay.
Huku Kenya.
Nimekupata. And
Okay.
shikilia tu hiyo point kidogo. Najua wewe na kushikilia njoti ni ngumu kidogo. Lakini sasa itabidi tumeanza
Njoti
semen
gani?
retention. Akona cut out manze. Akisikia inakuja. Nga.
mtu ajua malio kata
Hakuna
utiko
mtu, ni yeye tu anajua. Yeye na daktari ndio anajua kwenye waliweka. Hata Gift anapatanga shida.
Ouch.
Ndio maana inakuambia Karembo akiingia kwa video Gift anaenda kutafuta cutout.
Hapana.
Swali vipi bro?
poa sana poa
Me I've seen you tu kwa YouTube pale. There's a dark time kwenye tulikuwa tunapitia shida mingi sana. Tukiongea mambo ya embrace the darkness. Nakumbuka tulikuwa tunakaa hapo bana, ndio unaanza kurealize kuna hope kwa hii dunia kama sisi wote ni wenda wazimu. Juu tuko hapo na Soli, tuko na Dizo, tuko na Sultan. Sultan ndio huyo ameingia kwa matrix yake ya marriage, amepotea, hata hakuna mtu anamuona.
Sultan ni ambassador of marriage.
Mimi hiyo nashuku wingi sana juu niko na evidence imefuatana,
lakini
nitafunga hiyo
ni
kitabu.
watu wa spaces mko brutal sana.
You know, right? There's a lot
It's
of
cutthroat yani,
Ni survival.
like someone can slit your throat when you're sleeping.
Ni survive. Unajua Sultan aliapia when I was just trying to make my career, nikasema Jesus, thank you for providing this manna. A manna from heaven. Kuja Sultan, come unto me. Nikuonyeshe kazi yangu inakaaje.
embrace.
Acha tuanze kupanga makaratasi.
Nikaingizwa kwa rabbit hole properly. Kama hujai kusikia rabbit hole. Hii rabbit hole ilianza kuanguka na mimi.
Sultan kidogo nikuambie pole, lakini nikakumbuka
kuna pole.
men don't cry.
Never say sorry when you are wrong. George's quotes, hiyo mimi nitaipaka kesho, sitaisahau.
Unajua-
Especially when you are wrong.
Unajua
By the way,
Sultan, kwenye nilisikia ni kama nimeguza mlima. Ni kwenye ulitoa video ya press statement kwa nyumba yako ukitingika.
Matiti.
Fuck.
That was
I've
mad.
destroyed this person. Bro, pole lakini.
Don't say sorry.
Pole.
Why? Pole ya nini?
Pole ni ya.
Pole iponyeshi.
Ndio nakwambia aje. Pole kwa kufikiria ningekuambia.
Oh, pole. Okay, pole. Okay. I get you.
But slowly go ahead, man.
Poa. Nafuatilia hii conversation yenu ya nature. You know, nature is very unforgiving.
Yes.
It's very it does not reward stupidity. If you do stupid things, nature inakuweed out
Pole.
of existence. So but kuna kitu auongea about the state of nature. You talk a lot of philosophers, especially political philosophers, talk about the state of nature. Life in the state of nature. Mali ni wewe na nature. And I think there was a famous philosopher called Thomas Hobbes. And there's a famous quote where he said, life in the state of nature is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Yeah. So when you look at many African societies, even before independence, before anything, huko in the traditional setting, was very harsh. Yeah. In fact, I had this argument with an elder lady, and the way women were very oppressed in the past. And I was asking her who was not oppressed, because life was bad for everyone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oppressed according to who?
Because you're saying that women used to, they used to fetch water, they used to do what? I was asking her, they did not have electricity. They didn't have flowing water. So what else was there? So you can't say people
was
are
the
oppressed.
system
That was
then.
the life then. Unaona? But then over time, people realize we can create abundance. There are some things which we can do that can benefit all of us. And these things, we call them the good things, or the common good. Certain things that if you have a clean environment, it benefits everyone.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
all you have to do is to keep it clean. So everyone benefits. If you have good laws, they benefit everyone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have clean water, piped and all that, it benefits everyone. So I think the question now that is there now is, and I always have this conversation and this problem, especially with a lot of people in the development sector who are like, oh, we are going to fight poverty, and I'm like, you see, if you focus on poverty, then all you get is poverty. But if you look at it, the truth is that all of us start from poverty.
Yes.
Yeah, all of us start from poverty. Even you look at the Kenyatta family. If you go down several generations back,
They're poor.
you'll realize they were poor.
Yes.
But then their ancestors over time, they did things.
Became thieves.
Yes, I'll call them things for now.
No, somebody found a solution.
Yes, I'll call them things, that whatever it is they did, whether it was good or bad, that got them where they are. So, so the question is not eradicating poverty, and the question is not how we got here, because we all start from poverty. The question is, what are the things that
Can empower.
you can do to create wealth? So you have to shift the focus from poverty to wealth. Yeah. What are the things that you need to do to create wealth? Yeah. And for you to be able to create wealth, you must have a clear understanding of what wealth is. Yeah. And for the most part, wealth is assets that generate value and appreciate. They don't lose their value over time and all that. So you have to be able to clearly define. Otherwise, you cannot get something you can't even define. And money is not wealth. Money is a store of value and a medium of exchange, and it has certain qualities. But when now people started saying, so what can we do to get wealth? So at first people are like, if I want something, I attack another people, I conquer them, and I take whatever it is I want. But then I do that. After some time, they also come and attack me, and the cycle continues. Then Mzungu became a bit clever. He's like, why don't I get these people? I go and capture them and enslave them. And then I bring them and make them work for me to create wealth. And they continued with slavery. And over time, people realize slavery is inefficient. People will rebel. They'll kill their
The masters.
masters and all that. And then now people realize the best way is we trade with other people. So I come, I tell you, look, I have this thing. If you're interested in it, we can exchange for something. And then people started trading, and they realized that trade is a more superior form of interaction than conquering and killing. So now people are moving slowly from the state of nature, and then now from there, from trade, now you realize that things like entrepreneurship, a business, creating business is good. So it's part of the good, and people now started doing business and creating wealth and moving away from the state of nature, the harsh realities of nature. But nature doesn't change. It's the same. But there's a saying that says, for nature to be commanded, it must first be obeyed. So you have to obey nature first. So you have to align yourself with nature. But what we have today is that we have strayed so far from nature that a lot of things we are doing today are unnatural. And in religious term, we call that now sin. Sin is because nature has certain laws. And when you talk about law, there's natural law. Natural law cannot be broken. That one, God is the one who enforces it. For those who believe in God like me, I know there are people who don't believe, but I won't engage you in that conversation today.
Yeah. Those are man-made problems.
Yes.
Amejitoa
Or
vizuri
whatever
sana
problem.
hapo.
Yes.
Even
Eh.
you
So-
say God is man-made problems.
Yes. So now from natural law, because creation, for creation to exist, creation itself is evidence of a creator. So those laws is what now people studied, the natural laws. And they are like, okay, there's vibrations. I can call this vibration frequency. I can send something over the air and you can receive it. They're just following. Physics follows the laws of nature.
Yeah, true.
And the laws of nature are like that. You can't break them. When you break the laws of nature, there are consequences. And these consequences, they are enforced by nature itself.
And you cannot escape them.
Yes.
Mm.
If you eat the way you're not supposed to eat, it's like if you put the wrong fuel in your car breaks down.
Breaks down.
So if you eat the way you're not supposed to eat, that's why in law now they came up with that saying that ignorance of the law is no excuse. But that's not the right nini. They say ignorance of the law does not excuse you from the consequences of the law.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huwezi potea.
So
Lazima kutakuwa na
if you break the law,
Mhm.
there are consequences. Now, that then there's now man-made law. Man-made law, because all law comes from the creator. But man has his laws. Now, the good laws are the ones that align with the laws of the creator. Bad laws are the ones that are messing us up. Those are now the man-made problems. So when you break God's laws, they call it sin, or you've transgressed. But if you break man-made law, it's a crime. So there's a difference. And so you cannot do away with nature. In fact, the closer you are to nature, the more whole you become. Yeah, and the further removed from nature, the more fragmented and the more problems you'll have. That's where you have all these issues, even in relationships today, because there are people who want to tell you that men and women are the same. How are they the same? Men are men, women are women, and they are different by nature. Our natures are different. But there are people who want to treat the two the same way. You can't treat the two the same way.
Bro.
So,
And now, Sasa,
yes.
you've brought in a very interesting concept here. Wealth, that it is not, money is the one that you've said it's a tool.
It's the tool.
It's more
It's
of
a
a
tool.
tool.
Yes.
And wealth is more long lasting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you look at even nature and natural solutions and man-made solutions, I'm starting to realize that for you to make wealth, you must tie it into nature,
True.
because nature is more long-lasting.
Yes.
If you use man-made solutions to make wealth, then hautakimbia sana.
That's why I think it makes a lot of sense when he says,
Mhm.
when you're closer to nature,
Mm.
you're more fulfilled.
Yep.
So even the world itself will also
fulfill it.
Yes.
Fulfill it, yeah.
Because I'm feeling this way in this sense. For you to come up with solutions, you're looking for higher touch. Unapata?
definitely.
I am not solving a small problem. If I'm dealing with nature, that is. I'm not solving a small problem.
Yeah.
I'm solving a more, nasemaje, bro, a very big problem that is affecting so many people.
Mhm.
For example, kama Hitler. When
I
you
think it
nasema.
comes to you of the way you were saying.
Mhm.
You must obey before you command.
Exactly. So,
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
A lot.
Because now if you look at mtu kaa Hitler, najua mkuwa mnangoja niende hapo lakini
Kwenda wapi?
nimeenda hapo kwa Hitler.
Usiogope, usiogope.
Sultan ndio naona anaanza kufanya alama za msalaba na ni Muislamu.
Achana na okay.
Na by the way,
He's a
producer,
misunderstood guy. So
utabarikiwa na Mungu. Nimeona una consider wazee. Umesema Swali ashikilie mzee ekewe devices za
awekelewe.
unajua
disability.
kidogo atakuwa na walking stick ya mic. So
I was almost there.
Usijali bro. Tunakuangalia hii area tuko inclusive of every gender.
oh goodness.
Hata wheelchair iko.
So nataka kwa make sure that imeacha trademark kila mahali nitakapokwenda. So hivyo usijalikiwa imetia tena mimba.
Nakwambia Sultana, this is a
Nalipta
sharp
kutafutia mtu, acha story moja.
ashapata
Eh,
ashapata
Shapata.
ashaona.
Eh.
Naambia
From the topic.
so
hata hiyo mi nataka kuiona. I will show up just to see.
Mbona uko
Hebu-
go back to Hitler.
Baiko uniona
Baiko, I know you must dunga, but please.
ni pole saa ingine I cannot help myself naturally.
The nature of Baiko.
Ningekuwa
the laws in
daktari
Baiko.
ningekuwa
Lazima
daktari singekuwa
dunge.
na wadunga man. Nisingekuwa nadunga watu, ningekuwa naenda pale kwa naambia teremsho no. Zaza, lakini sijakuwa daktari. Zaza lazima ndunge watu physically but and psychologically bro. So if we go back to mtuka Hitler, there's an actual problem that arose of a population. Napata? But now if I'm going to solve this problem, I must give it a label. I am not killing humans. I am killing the humans that are creating this overpopulation crisis. That is the Jews. But if you really think about overpopulation, see Germans pia wako kwa hiyo matrix ya population and overpopulation. So he is coming up with a solution, but yeye mwenyewe ameitie into nature because I felt that was a perfect tie of a solution, man-made and natural, but akaimanipulate. Hapo ndio shida ilitokelezea, but not even in the sense that we think, because the Jews themselves, isipokuwa ni hao wanatupatianga hii account ya Holocaust and what not. If the Germans give you that story, bro, these ones are giving you a different account of what happened.
Mhm.
We are just receiving this story from victims. If we go back now to Bituka post-election violence,
Are they victims though?
now we are at a very good place. That's a good rabbit hole. Kwa
How would they
sababu
call themselves victim and they didn't even go through it?
tulikuwa na hii conversation
It's
hapa
a black
Swali,
American thing.
na tukacheka sana when we realize that for you to get justice, you must be a very good victim.
Yeah, you must be.
Ile una
Performance.
perform bana, unalia mpaka
It's for you to hustle people.
exactly.
So you have to hustle people.
Bro, so you
by
appear like a
playing
victim.
Victim.
Yes, but you're
Yes.
not.
Package yourself as so.
Yes.
Because
So in fact, there's more benefit being a victim,
Mhm.
and is also a source of your strength. Now you're able to hustle people and extort.
Bila
from
repercussions.
them.
And this game has been played several times by women.
Yes, even married people.
Oh goodness,
No,
Lord.
no, on reality, because even if a woman cries and say how she has been,
But the tables have already turned. Nowadays, you'll find that there's more. Whether this is currently what I've noticed, currently right now, there's more say. They get to listen to what the man also has to say. They actually get to look into the woman's story. You can't go at a cry fall anymore.
but still the game
That's
is
an African thing.
No,
It's a
it is
Kenyan
actually
thing.
happening because of
Yes.
and I think we Africans mostly we end up now trying to adopt the state as it goes. And the reason nasema hivi ni kwa sababu I was somewhere and I was seated with ladies and I had now you're finding that there are people you're finding they are having court cases with their nannies because of dismissal, and somebody wants to go and ask for more than 250,000 in compensation. Imagine
dismissing.
that. Yes, court case. Nani amefika mahali na kusu all
Kwani,
that money.
what happened,
Imagine.
what happened between that guy and
Nakwambia,
that
times
husband?
have changed. Things
But
are
it never come
changing.
a time that a woman will be able to support the man because the woman is working.
Wasn't there somebody? There's actually somebody who shared a statistic saying that right now, men in the United States are more nurturing than the women. Imagine that.
They're
But-
bitches.
Give me no. I
But
okay.
but it's a special case. It
that didn't come
No,
from
but
you.
no, but
Hata mimi
I
But
was
it's true.
expecting from you, but I
itoke
didn't
kwa
expect
Sony
you
bana.
to say such a
no. Just be prepared, yani.
you know when you sit with bitches, you end up being a bitch. So
And
So when
don't worry.
when men become weak, that's when now you have all these
And
problems.
come to think of it, in your first submission, when you're talking about, when you're saying about the whole nature thing and resetting and saying that even in relationships, the issues that are there, because you, at one point, there will be a reset. And you remember when you're trying to bring the marriage thing, it made sense now to a place where you see the point where we think that this whole unhealthy kind of relationships people are having, you feel like nobody's gonna judge you because you're jumping from one to the second. You think there are no consequences. It now brings the whole aspect of, look at some of the sexually transmitted diseases that we have. That is part of nature trying to solve that issue of marriages and relationships.
you
It is, look at it from that point.
you
And at one point, it's gonna reset it because remember, obey command.
hapo
Obey
ninaweza
before you
There's-
command.
hapo
there's-
naweza sema 50-50.
There's a sociologist who did a research, huge study, and he found that when any community or nation falls into immorality, it is destroyed within 2 or 3 generations. That's where Kenya is now.
But sasa hapo
It's
ndio
gonna reset itself.
hapo mi naweza disagree na nyinyi in these two ways. We are dealing with two things, nature na man. Now this guy has gone into immorality. Where we are thinking that nature will reset itself is where we are not accounting for that guy who decided to go into that immorality coming up with a plan for it. For example, Sai, we are living in a very sexual society that if I want a woman, si lazima niende mbali.
Immoral society.
Yes.
It's just immoral.
No, it's sexual. Sinanga
Okay,
shida
let's
na-
call it hypersexualized.
No, it is just sexual. Mi sina shida na immorality juu tukianza kuongea mambo ya immorality na tuseme tu bahati mbaya tu tunaongea hii story tuseme we are moral and then tu nani shaitani wa nini waislamu anaitwa nani? Shaitan.
Satan.
Iblis.
Ibilisi.
Ibilisi ama the devil comes out and says, bra, dunia imeisha saa hii. Nakuambia hapa tunaweza enda wengi tukichukuliwa na sultan. Juu
I saw that coming. Don't worry.
Lazima
Wait,
unge-
unajua
Where am I to
nini?
go?
I saw that coming.
I like the way you're talking about a sexual society. I'd like to see you talk about a sexual society when you're being pegged.
Bye. Huyu jamaa ngoja. We have found the person mwenye butt plugs zimekuwa zikinunuliwa. I've been wondering these wanapeleka wapi butt plugs. So it was you all along.
No, so, you're saying there's no difference between sexual and immoral. There's a difference.
There is no.
There's a difference.
No.
There's a very big difference.
The difference
No,
comes here.
I think the question you need to ask Baiko here would be, what do you understand by moral and immoral?
Now, that's a very good one. Kwa sababu we tackled this.
I know morality.
Now, where we come, na nitawakupeleka tu polepole na mutaratara, muniachie tafadhali kidogo. Before, we were talking about beaches na that's a story for another. But I saw a beach on the speakers panel. Kwa jina anaitwa Joel. Sorry Joel, si beach ya BITCH. Batch, nilikuwa namaanisha batch. Batch of Ugandans. but but we started here where man-made solutions
Oh, but then this is diesel.
nanakaa fiti.
This is diesel today.
I don't even want to think about where that's coming from.
Nampatia nini, unajua absence makes the heart grow fond. Wacha bwana. Dizo yuko hapa alafu unaanza kumkumbusha.
That's why the deed laws were made.
Bas.
The idea came.
Mimi vitu za sultana najuanga mimi zinanishangazanga.
When you
Mhm.
The
so you
code.
get a substitute.
Adildo.
And you can get a deal. Then you can name
That's
that.
Lord.
Do you have a dildo?
Where
Me,
did
I
I
have a
miss this
dildo.
convo?
Doing what?
Yaani nyinyi sasa
have
mmeingia
a dildo?
story kabisa.
For do what? To do what?
Oh, unajua
Akitaka atachonga moja ambao shida iko wapi? Hebu tuendeleeni.
fundi wa
Umaliza point yako.
fundi wa miti bwana.
Pamoja Karembo we choked.
Karembo ako tu sawa.
Karibu apatia akele oda.
Wait, guys, you need to give me a disclaimer. He cannot be speaking like this without that innocence in that face.
Umeona hiyo sura? Hata mimi
Alafu mtu anakuja anasema akitaka ya
don't know,
kuchonga
Sabi.
si atachonga tu.
Sabi.
I'm like, what? Hadi kama-
yeah. So let's go there bwana. Unaona